Hey, Patrick.
Hey, Michael J.
Ixalan has given us so many riches that we couldn't even cram them all into a single podcast this week.
Yeah, we've actually got bonus exclusive booty here, treasure.
It's literally booty. It's literally treasure.
Oh, yeah. It's not literally treasure. There's literally treasure in the set. This card works really well with some of the treasure cards, but it doesn't actually have treasure itself, although some would say it is a treasure itself.
I would say it is a treasure. I would feel that. I would love to open up a wooden chest at the bottom of the sea and find this inside.
Lookout's Dispersal. 2 and a blue, instant. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 4. Already like some cards that have seen plenty of play recently. But then wait, there's more. Lookout's Dispersal costs 1 less to cast if you control a pirate.
So Lookout's Dispersal is it's near Spell Shrivel, right? And it's also near Metallic Rebuke, both of which are playable cards.
Yep. The idea of being able to protect your pirates so efficiently and not having the fail state be embarrassing if you can't. Like for instance, picture on turn 1, you just start off the party Siren Storm Tamer, right?
Yep.
And now you're already in business, and you have a super mana leak. But it doesn't have to be that early. You could just, on turn 4, play Captain Lannery Storm, immediately get yourself a treasure, and then just don't use it yet, and then counter whatever your opponent does. The ability to make 2 big plays in 1 turn just seems pretty sweet with this thing.
Yeah, I think that the implications specifically with Captain Lannery Storm or other treasure cards is really important. You could be playing what looks like a mono red deck in the first couple turns of the game. And treasure itself, right, which is something that Captain Lannery Storm, who is a pirate, makes for you, allows you to have the blue mana to cast Lookout's Dispersal, which is discounted by the creature.
Yep. And once you're just packing all that treasure, the ability to splash the different colors starts becoming very, very real. And one of the best things to be able to splash in a deck like this is a high-tempo play that gives you a powerful added dimension, such as giving you a counterspell in your mono-red deck. Ramen Up Red was not meant to have counterspells, but it's not just for pirate aggro in such exotic forms. You could just play this in like a straight-up 2-color deck that doesn't necessarily you don't necessarily need to be all in on pirates, right? Like, could you play this card with only like 14 pirates in your deck, or 12?
I think that you probably could. And in fact, I was thinking, like, would this card see any play, right, in non-pirate decks? I don't think it's like super likely, but I think that there's probably some decks that want to have so many counterspells that they might consider thinking about Lookout's Dispersal, even if they only had a few pirates.
Right. Like, you need so few pirates to be in business enough for this one. Like, imagine you've just got, like, trying to go bare bones minimum. What if you just had 3 hostage takers or 4 hostage takers and that was it? That's at least, like, possible, right? Like, that's a consideration. Hostage taker is even a great card to protect.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's completely reasonable. Like, people played Spell Shrivel, right? And Spell Shrivel is just straight card for straight card, not so much better than Lookout's Dispersal. It really depends on what the opponent is doing for Spell Shrivel to be that much better. And then if you have any bonus at all, like if you're playing even 3 hostage takers, I think that if you're playing hostage takers, this gets really, really a lot better because it changes the turn that you can play it, right? Like, if you can play your hostage taker on turn 6, let's say, or maybe earlier than that, depending on if you have treasure lying around. I think that's something that we never got with some of these other 3 casting cost permission spells.
And just the fact that you could just play this in an aggressive deck with some sweet pirates, like maybe you just have some number of Siren Storm Tamers Maybe you just have some amount of Ruin Raiders. Maybe you just have some number of Captain Lannery Storms. I don't know that you need to be that all in. I mean, what if you're playing a blue-red deck that has Captain Lannery Storm and Rowdy Crew for your red pirates, and your blue pirates are Siren Storm Tamer, and I don't know, maybe you're playing the Dreamcaller Siren, maybe you're not. Of course, who knows? Maybe you're actually just playing Hostage Taker anyway off the splash, and you're just doing it with some of the treasure and a few lands like Aether Hub or Spire of Industry or whatever. But either way, you just don't need to have this is my 32 pirate deck. You can just be like, sometimes I just get to have my Spell Shrivel for 2 mana.
Yeah, I think that's totally a viable exploration space.
Is there any chance that you're going to be playing 4 Deadeye Tracker and 4 Siren Storm Tamers so that you're reliably getting a 2-mana counterspell out of this right out the gate?
I think that some people will try that for sure.
Because that could be something. I mean, I don't know. I personally am medium on the tracker, but it's something. It's at least a 1-cost pirate, and it's got some play to it. And it's unless you spend that 2 mana that you held up for your counterspell, unless you spend it efficiently if your opponent doesn't play anything worth countering.
I mean, just think about like the Blue-White Spirits deck that was so dominant in Standard about a year ago. Like, first, like, there are better aggressive drops in the Pirates tribe than we saw in some of the Blue-White Spirits options. Like, you could just start there, and this very much fills a niche that you would want to see in that kind of a deck, which is like, I gain a little bit of momentum from playing 1 and 2 drops, and then I just have a consistent permission spell to hold the lead, get my opponent to tap out, and then land my big spell maybe, or all I have to do is just counter their sweeper, right? And I'm going to be in great shape. Or all I have to do is counter their big ramp spell, like counter their Hour of Promise. I'm going to be in great shape. You don't need to counter even like 2 or 3 cards in one of these because you've already got the momentum from having faster drops than they have.
Sure. And that's not even getting into the possibility of high tempo plays like Unsummon, or Fatal Push or whatever, just to try to buy you even more time early on to make sure that you can just get a temporary advantage that you can then protect with cards like this. I mean, maybe you could play, what if you play this and Metallic Rebuke in a deck with lots of treasure?
Oh, I actually thought that would be a perfect combination. Metallic Rebuke just, is also going to get a discount from the treasure. But the beautiful thing about it in that case is you don't even have to blow the treasure, right? You could just borrow the treasure.
Right. And, there's a few different artifacts that could potentially fit into some kind of a pirate deck. I mean, I don't know. It's a little bit weird, but if you're playing the instants and sorceries cost you 1 less to cast, it works with some of those others as both the enabler and a cost reduction part. But more importantly, if you've got, like, whenever you play a pirate, draw a card. I mean, it's not just pirate, it's whatever, name a type. But all your pirates get +1/+1, and every time you play a pirate, draw a card. The Vanquisher's Banner. So I don't know, this seems kind of sweet. Long and the short of it is, though, that 2 and a blue, Lookout's Dispersal, counter a spell unless its controller pays 4, and Lookout's Dispersal costs 1 less to cast if you control a pirate.
I think it's going to be definitely played, and I think it's going to be somewhere between sweet and backbreaking, depending on the situation in the decks.
Dude, what about this in Modern? If you have 4 Mutavaults and 4 Siren Storm Chasers, you're on your way.
Yeah, I mean, we talked yesterday about Siren Storm Chaser having applications in bigger formats, because it does stop people from killing you. So, yeah.
Like, you would not have to play very many pirates, and Mutavault and Siren Storm Chaser is a pretty good start. And a 2-mana counterspell would be sweet, and a 3-mana counterspell isn't necessarily a deal breaker if the rest of your deck is making it worth it.
Agree on all fronts.
All right, well, dope.
Cool.
Well, we've got a million cards to cover next week, as well as if you haven't already checked it out, make sure to check out our episode yesterday, where we just kind of went off for a while.
Hour and a half.
about just the sheer volume of Ixalan previews we are inundated with.
And if you, just check this out because, you got linked to this one from the mothership. Thanks for visiting. We're Top Level Podcast. Check out other stuff from our podcast on our website or on iTunes, and, we'd love to hear from you.
Awesome. See you next week.
All right, bye-bye.
Life didn't work so great. Tried to play dredge, it's a jail or hate. Ghostly prison waiting for my untapped phase. Your core trapped in amber stasis days. Lost a lot of friends, got left